Let's break down the 5 ways you can scale your therapy practice and create passive income. There are multiple ways you can use your passion to help people to create income. Today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do it. When I started my own private practice, I was way excited to actually be on my own, start my practice, and get some clients. I did it. It started to work. My practice started to grow, and I loved it. I loved doing therapy until I didn't love it anymore. I remember coming home from work one night and my wife looking at me and saying, "You seem so burned out. You seem so done." And I realized that as much as I loved doing therapy, I was getting burned out. And I needed to figure out a way to actually be able to help people, but not feel burned out all the time. My kids needed some of my energy. My wife needed some of my energy. And I figured that out. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to show you what I did. I used to do about 40 plus clinical hours a week. Now I do about 3. And the reason I do those 3 clinical hours every week is because I love doing it. It feels good to me. I choose to do it. I don't need to. When I was doing 40, I was desperate. I was desperate for money. I was desperate to feel successful. I was desperate to try to figure out how to help people. And that's why I was doing those things. I don't live in desperation anymore. I make plenty of money and I help plenty of people. Who doesn't want to be the next Brené Brown, Jordan Peterson, or Esther Perel? I realize they're the titans of our industry. They have all kinds of products and platforms and people following them. But why can't that be you? Or even a smaller scale of that, why can't that be you? Believe that it can be you. There's a way to do it, so let's talk about it. I'm going to break it down for you. There's 5 steps that you need to take in order to get started to create a passive income practice and scale your business. First off, identify what you offer to the world. What I mean by that is, what pain point do you have answers to? What are you an expert at? My podcast, my first podcast, was named The Betrayed, The Addicted, and The Expert. I was the expert on that podcast, and I had a lot of answers in terms of treating sexual addiction and betrayal trauma. I know how to help people get into recovery. I'm a specialist. I am an expert in that area. So ask yourself, what do people come into your practice for? What are you a specialist in? It's important for you to identify that, because believe it or not, what people pay you for on a small scale at your practice is the same thing they'll pay you for on a large scale online. Step 2, this is similar to step 1, but you want to make sure that you can speak to something confidently and powerfully. So you can't totally just fake it. Hey, I want to be an expert on ADHD, or I want to be an expert on depression. You need to actually be that expert. So I didn't start my platforms and my online businesses until I had done private practice for over 10 years. I knew the ins and outs of what I wanted to talk about very, very well. So part of the process of starting your online business is actually going through the learning process and becoming a specialist and an expert so you can speak confidently to that topic. The next thing to ask yourself, step number 3, is how are you going to make your expertise known to the world? What format are you going to use? Many therapists will write a book. And what a book does is people read it and they realize, wow, that person really knows what they're talking about. They're an expert on that. But now there's all kinds of other avenues. You're watching a YouTube video right now of me talking. YouTube's a great avenue to show your expertise. Podcasting, even Instagram and Facebook and those type of platforms can really show what an expert you are. My favorite format for my platforms is podcasting. And the reason is because I believe as therapists, we talk to people a lot and we can get underneath. We can really examine what's going on in people's lives. So on a podcast, I can have a conversation. I can tell a story. Usually my podcasts are anywhere from 25 minutes to 45 minutes long. And it's not so regimented and bullet pointed. Rather, it's free flowing and organic. And the audience responds to that. They respond to hearing the story and examining an issue in that way. So I'm a big proponent of podcasting. Obviously, I like YouTube too, because on YouTube, you can tell a lot of stories. You can connect to an audience in a very authentic way. And as therapists, I think most therapists are pretty authentic. And that's how you can connect to people. YouTube's a great format to do that as well. Before I give you the last two very important steps, please subscribe to my channel. If you want more content and you want to learn how to build a scalable practice and an online presence, then you're going to really like the videos on my channel. So once you've identified what you can offer, you realize you're an expert on it, you can speak to it confidently, you've identified the format that you want to target in order to get your message out there, the next step is production. How are you going to produce your show? How are you going to produce your content? And the good news is content's not that hard to produce. The bad news is to make it look really, really professional, it takes a lot of work. So there's a give and take to that. Sometimes the most authentic content is just done on your phone. It's you hitting that record button and just creating content right there on your phone, talking to your audience genuinely and authentically. My podcast, we actually don't even edit it. And we don't edit it because we want to show authenticity. We want to show when we say or when we do something stupid on the podcast. And our audience actually relates to that. They appreciate that. So you don't have to get too technical with your editing and spend tons of time and money on that. I had a good friend who started a podcast. He was a therapist and he recorded 5 episodes and he never released 1 episode because he was so concerned with the production and the editing and it being perfect that he never got anything out there. Now on the flip side of that, you don't want to put garbage out there. Stuff that just isn't fun to watch. Really bad audio, really bad lighting, really uncomfortable stuff to listen to. Your audience is going to go away. So make sure that you have good audio, that you're easy to listen to, you're easy to look at while you deliver your content. With production as a therapist, I realized really quickly that that's not my expertise. I'm a therapist. I'm good at therapy. I'm good at the content for therapy. I wasn't afraid to invest and spend money and ask for help from people who actually know what they're doing in terms of producing podcasts, producing YouTube videos. And I would suggest that for you too, so that you can focus on what you're best at, which is the content of helping people overcome their pain. Step number 5, marketing funnels. You can create awesome products, you can get an audience, but then not really make any money off of it. It's important that you understand what a marketing funnel is and how it works. It's also really important that early on you start collecting testimonials, because those testimonials are an important piece to your marketing funnels. Therapists oftentimes don't think about things like marketing, but the better you can learn about a good funnel and how to set it up, and even if you need to hire somebody to give you help with that, it's a critical piece to creating passive income. When I say marketing funnel, you may not even know what that is. Now, most people these days do know what that is, but you'll spend a good majority of your time just developing an audience. And that's just one piece of the funnel. That audience trusts you, they follow you, they know who you are, but you want to put them into a funnel to lead them towards something. Lead them toward a life-changing product that you've developed. Lead them toward a subscription site that you have so that they can become a part of your tribe and get even more better content from you. Those funnels walk them along the path to actually take the steps in order to buy in and participate in those products. As you look at these steps, I hope you understand that this is a one step at a time thing. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're thinking, I can't create funnels, I don't know how to produce things, what am I going to do? Slow down. Slow down and just start with the first step. Look at what you're really good at. Look at what people pay you for. Write that out. Identify that. That's the first step. And then go from there. So don't get overwhelmed. You can do this. one day at a time, and before you know it, you'll have an online presence and a platform that's producing passive income. If you found these steps helpful, that's awesome. But another video that will help you along the way is why are therapists so scared to start an online business. So click in the link below, watch that video, and go and get started.